Kendrick Perkins has turned on Jalen Brunson. Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roche Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. The New York Knicks have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks tonight to move to 4-4 on the season, and it has been a little bit of a shaky start for the Knicks this season because they've made a trade, obviously, to get Karl-Anthony Towns. They got rid of Julius Randle, and it's been a little shaky so far, as I already mentioned, but not too bad. But Jalen Brunson is getting some flack from a key ESPN analyst and Kendrick Perkins. And he's a guy that has defended Jalen Brunson in the past. So I'm going to go over whether I believe that Kendrick Perkins is accurate with his analysis of Jalen Brunson's play, or if he is incorrect and that Jalen Brunson is still an elite player and it's just way too early in the season to really dog his play. Now, when you look at the NBA season, it is just at the beginning. It's not even close to even halfway through the season yet. We're only through 8 games or 9 games, depending on how many games a team has played. So to really go off those early games and say that this team's cooked or this player is garbage now, that he's not playing nowhere near as well as he used to, is kind of crazy. But if a guy's really struggling and he's really falling off, or if a team is really falling off, I can understand it. And when it comes to the Knicks, yes, as a team, they are struggling a little bit compared to last season. But I do think that they're going to get it together. They do have a really talented team, and maybe the trade will eventually end up paying off for them. That's definitely to be determined. But with Jalen Brunson, though, we got Kendrick Perkins saying that he, last year, in his opinion, was the best player in the Eastern Conference. Now, that's very debatable, obviously. Jason Tatum was great last year, so that's a comparable player. There was other guys in the East that were playing great basketball, Joel Embiid before he got hurt. But Jalen Brunson was fantastic. So saying that he was the best player in the East, that can be debated, but you can't really say that at least he wasn't a top 3 player in the East. Now Kendrick Perkins is saying he's not even in the top 15 in the East. And what's so hilarious about it is last year Kendrick Perkins fired back at Jalen Brunson haters. A lot of people have said Jalen Brunson was not worth the money that the Knicks paid to get him when he came over from the Dallas Mavericks. And I even agreed with it at the time. But Jalen Brunson has done fantastic. When you look at his stats as an NBA player, he definitely has exceeded expectations for him when he first came into the league. This season, he's averaging 25 points per game so far, which is a little bit down compared to where he was at last year. He averaged 28 points per game throughout last season at the Knicks, which is 3 points better than he currently is. But he shot 40% from 3, and so far this season, he's shooting 46% from 3. So that's probably not going to hold. I really don't see him shooting 46% from 3 throughout the entire season. That percentage is going to go down, but he's always been in the high 30s or low 40s from 3 throughout his career, and he shot 48% from the field last season. He's shooting 46% from the field right now. And when you look at his assist numbers, last season he averaged 7 assists. So far he's averaging 6. Rebounds are a bit down. So yeah, his stats are a little bit down all across the board, but it's not that bad. And again, it's only 8 games so far this season that the Knicks have played, so that is just way too early to determine whether Jalen Brunson has really fallen off that far. And based off these stats alone, I don't think that he has fallen off that much, especially if you're saying he's not even a top 15 player in the East. If you want to say he's not a top 15 player in the NBA, that's a bit more debatable, but in the East, he's absolutely a top 15 player. But we got to hear what Kendrick Perkins said himself on ESPN earlier today about Jalen Brunson.
It's Jalen Brunson, right? And last year, Jalen Brunson was, in my eyes, the best player in the Eastern Conference last season. This year, he's not even the top 15 player in the Eastern Conference. That's where the bar he has set and the expectations for him. Now, when you think about Big Body Brunson, he got his name because he delivered when it matters the most. Right now, he's 29th in the league in fourth-quarter points. And I need to see that playmaking, that growth, go to another level. No games this season has he had double-digit assists. And that should not be the case when you have the personnel, especially in the starting 5, that he's surrounded with. He has the ball in his hands probably more than 60% of the time. So I just want to see more out of Big Body Brunson.
Now, a couple of the points that Kendrick Perkins made throughout that statement make a little bit of sense about him not scoring much in the fourth quarter so far this season, not assisting the ball as much this season, as I mentioned earlier, which is fair. But again, it is way too early in the season to say that Jalen Brunson has dropped off from the best player in the East to now he's not even a top 15 player in the East. That is where I absolutely disagree with Kendrick Perkins. And Kendrick Perkins is a major analyst on ESPN, and a lot of people disagree with tons of his takes, and I disagree with a lot of his takes in the past as well. And I don't even think this is an egregious take by Kendrick Perkins. I just think that it's definitely something that shouldn't be said this early in the season about a player that you defended less than a year ago so hard as he has. So Kendrick Perkins, don't know if it's just going for clicks for ESPN. I don't know, but that is definitely, to me, an outrageous take by Kendrick Perkins. He can make the take if he wants. Anybody has that right to their opinion, just like I'm right here saying that I disagree with Kendrick Perkins. But if it was basically game 50 or game 60 right now, and Jalen Brunson's play that he's at right now, it was the same, or maybe it's gotten a little bit worse, then I can understand Kendrick Perkins making the statement. But it is way too early in the season to say that he's fallen off by that much. His points per game have only gone down by 3, and his assists have gone down only by 1 per game. It's not a drastic fall off. He's probably still figuring out his teammates. He needs to do better. If the Knicks want to be an elite team, he's got to do better. Jalen Brunson is a fantastic player, and I do agree with Kendrick Perkins that Jalen Brunson's bar is very high as a player with how much success he has had so far in his career. But I think this is a way too premature of a take from Kendrick Perkins to say Jalen Brunson has fallen off that far to not even be a top 15 player in the East. That is absolutely insane. He's definitely a top 15 player in the East, but he could stand to do a little bit better as the season continues to go along in the NBA. But it is so early that I think Jalen Brunson should be fine and will end up bouncing back and playing at as high of a level as he did last year. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Kendrick Perkins turning on Jalen Brunson and going from saying he was the best player in the East last year to now he's not even a top 15 player in the East. Whether you agree with him or me on this situation, and that Jalen Brunson definitely deserves more time, and the Knicks as well, to be able to turn their season around. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.